Revolution born in the DeFi space. EMP Fusion, leading the race. From EMP to energy, the cycles turn. Passive income streams, it's what we earn. Sacrifice and stake, let your journey begin. In the heart of fusion, everyone wins. Daily rewards, no limit in sight. Building wealth in the digital night. Fusion ignites, the future's in view. Decentralized world for me and you. Infinite loops, rewards on demand. Together we thrive, in fusion we stand. EMP empowers, energy thrives. In this ecosystem, our wealth arrives. No more middlemen, no centralized ties. Just smart contracts and community ties. The marketplace beckons, a gamified land. With strategy sharp, we take our stand. One single stake, rewards abound. In Fusion's loop, prosperity is found. Fusion ignites, the future's in view. A decentralized world for me and you. Infinite loops, rewards on demand. Together we thrive, in Fusion we stand. Liquidity pools, where dreams are made. With every transaction, the system's paid. Sustainable growth, a vision so clear. Fusion's ecosystem, year after year. Compounding wealth, it's the Fusion way. Earning rewards every single day. From EMP to energy, the cycle flows. A digital empire, watch how it grows. Fusion ignites, the future's in view. A decentralized world for me and you. Infinite loops, rewards on demand. Together we thrive, in Fusion we stand. The journey's simple, the rewards are vast. In Fusion's loop, wealth grows fast. Sacrifice your EMP, let energy lead. In this ecosystem, you plant the seed. Sustainability, drives a fusion plan. A financial revolution for every man. With innovation at its very core. Fusion unlocks the future to explore. So join the movement, take your place in the Fusion ecosystem. We embrace a decentralized vision, bold and true. With EMP Fusion, the future's for you. Fusion ignites, the future's in view. A decentralized world for me and you. Infinite loops, rewards on demand. Together we thrive, in Fusion we stand.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to our EMP live stream, EMP.Money, and a brand new intro. Shout out to Mujafa, I hope I said that right, for sending me this video, a banger, LA, huh? That's a brand new video, and before we hear thoughts on the intro, my co-host with the most, LA. LA, how are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, banger of a new song. Love it.
Yeah, totally. So shout out to all the community hype and involvement. We had an amazing few weeks. I'd love to see it. I mean, we see the Peggy dance coming back. We see a lot more activity in the socials. We see people creating videos, spreading the word. I mean, this is what it's all about. So, it's really exciting to see that return. I know it can be hard to get motivated in a bear market, especially with, EMP and eShare taking a hit, but now that we are, have an extremely solid game plan, we see the economics, unfolding in real time. I think it's getting people excited. So, what do you think, LA? I know the Telegram especially has been popping off lately.
Yeah, no, that's a clear sign because when everyone's showing back up to support the community and it sounds excited, ready to Peggy dance, we know that we're onto something, and our vision is near.
Yeah, 100% LA. So, again, I know that, unfortunately, it takes like a big event like this for people to get interested again, but that is just human psychology, I guess. So, that being said, though, the opportunity is still here, and we'll go through all that tonight. Shout out to all of you that are here. We have already almost 60 viewers, so glad to have you here. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps us with the algorithm and gets the word out. For again, to my point, getting more people involved in the ecosystem. So, all right, awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to notes. Um, I mean, we're seeing Peg, the road to Peg happening. That'll be the big discussion today. But before we get into that, we are going through some upgrades on our official EMP site. LA, do you want to go through that real quick and give them a link to the backup site?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do apologize that we don't have the main site live at the moment, but it is being upgraded. And so there's a little bit of behind the scenes work. And in the meantime, you can use the app site, which is app.emp.money. I've just put it into the comments there. That is a site that we use only when stuff like this happens where the main site is down temporarily. So it's not 100% up to date, but you will be able to do anything and everything you need to do on there.
Yeah, 100%. So some of the wording, like LA said, is a bit out of date, but you should be able to access anything you need to. And honestly, it's probably a really good idea that you take this opportunity to, uh, get out of the farms or do whatever you can that you have locked up in the legacy fusion. Obviously, nodes and detonator reactor, we're working on the migration for those. That will be very shortly after, if not simultaneously, alongside our release of DexSwap. So keep an eye out for that. But if you have loose, LPs or loose eShare, it's always a great idea to remove that and have it in your wallet. Again, remember that the farms no longer are producing. It's been that way for almost a year now. But and we'll talk a little bit more about how we're still going to offer a way to earn on EMP and eShare specifically without the farms in a much more sustainable way when DexSwap is here. So that being said, like I said, road to peg is here. I mean, we've said supply shock will start kicking in, and now we're seeing it happen in real time, very slowly, day by day. Even with the overall market dumping, we're still outperforming ETH and we are gaining on peg. So again, there was a little bit of FUD that came out today about the Silk Road Bitcoin that was seized by the DOJ being dumped. But I think now, after doing some research today, it seems like that Bitcoin is already accounted for through big players like Coinbase custodying that Bitcoin or doing a line of credit to the government, so that obviously you can't dump 70,000 Bitcoin all at once anyway. It would just you would lose on price impact. So the whales have OTC deals. There's so much that happens behind the scenes, that we as plebs aren't privy to. But that being said, it's really just a fun event, and we see the market dump, but those that are accumulating take advantage of that. So I'm not worried at all. I think the real bull run is still on track, and over the next 3 to 6 months, we see things really start to take off. So, all right, Ella, you want to go over a little bit on the post we made, highlighting some key bullet points for the latest of Peg and EMP.
Yes, hell yeah, I do. So,
Awesome.
7 days of gains. EMP Fusion has been gaining peg for 7 days straight and outperforming ETH for nearly an entire month. Supply shock is real. Over 50% of EMP supply is gone, with 90% locked in smart contracts or treasury wallets. EMP is now the most hyper deflationary token heading into 2025. Eventually, there'll be no more EMP left to sell. With scarcity at an all-time high, 100% of economic energy and real yield will eventually flow into microgrids, creating unstoppable momentum. I love that term, unstoppable momentum. This
Totally.
also means literally no one can dump EMP because there'll not be any remaining EMP at some point in the near future. Also, eShare is booming. eShare has nearly doubled in value this week. It's on the verge of being deflationary after the next halving that's happening in February.
I love it. Yeah, no doubt. So those are some really key metrics, and I'll go through them one by one here, just to elaborate a little bit more. We have said all along that about 90% of the EMP supply is accounted for. What that means is, a lot of the top wallets are either smart contracts or treasury addresses or, friendly whales that we are, in touch with. And even just the LP alone. So that's what we mean by accounted for. And again, I think people get scared, that there could be some large sales of EMP, but we're getting to the point where that really isn't a thing. And, that plays into that second point where at some point in the near future, there will not be any more EMP. That is the whole point of Fusion, is that it all becomes locked in to Fusion, and that is a guaranteed, again, I use that word very lightly because nothing in crypto and nothing in life is guaranteed, really, but it is guaranteed to help us maintain PEG because if there is no EMP to sell, then there is no selling pressure on PEG. And why that is so important is that drives all the value into microgrids because obviously if there's no EMP to sell, that means there's also no EMP to buy. And the only way to get into EMP Fusion is through buying somebody else's microgrid. So, and that is again what we've been saying all along of why it's so important to take advantage of sacrificing early. I mean, this isn't in terms of what you may be used to with the word sacrifice. We use that, for many different reasons, but typically a sacrifice means you don't get any value in the future. This is not the case. I mean, you're earning at these rates now a 5x on your sacrifice into Fusion. So, and that will slowly get less and less, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But all of those things are what we have done to really solidify the revolutionary economics in Fusion. And again, whether I get on an AMA or LA writes a tweet, or any of us say, PEG is inevitable, the math is what doesn't lie. And again, we're seeing that math play out in real time. So really exciting stuff. And then, yeah, just eShare is another sleeper. Obviously, right now, all the economic energy is being put into PEG recovery. After that, it will be put into the yield in Fusion. But remember, you have to have energy in Fusion, which means you have to be buying eShare. So that again will simultaneously help the volume and price on eShare, and a portion of all the Fusion marketplace fees through eShare or energy is burned. So that alone will continue to buy and burn eShare along the way as well. So really, really powerful stuff. All right, LA, again, maybe just clarify the PEG bonus and why it's shrinking really fast.
Yes. So, funny thing is, like maybe 2, maximum 3 AMAs ago, I said to everyone, this may be the last opportunity to get a 6x PEG bonus. And sure enough, here we are, nearly about to get to 5 and below 5. And so super powerful. But basically, the PEG bonus is shrinking fast. 2-3 weeks ago, it was at 7x, then it was at 6x, and today it's at 5.15x. Sacrificing EMP now means better rates on sacrifice points. Also, with ETH being down, we're getting more EMP for every dollar spent. this might be the last opportunity to get the peg bonus in the 5x zone. And if you are someone who isn't waiting for the FOMO to take over before you start really paying attention, you can still take advantage of these amazing peg bonuses to really maximize the value of your microgrid.
I
Also,
love it.
don't lie, game-changing economics are unfolding perfectly, just as we said they would. Peg is within reach, and the future of EMP is brighter than ever.
I love it, LA, no doubt. So again, I mean, to piggyback on that, like we don't have a crystal ball. And our conviction when you listen to the AMAs over the last 6 months or more with peg recovery and saying it's not if, it's when, all of that has to do with the math. And again, based on everything I just said over the last 10 minutes and seeing, the incredible stats that John and Grover have put together through Fusion Watch, which I'll pull up here in a minute. All of those statistics are based on the on-chain data, and that is something that cannot be faked or misrepresented. And that alone shows exactly what we're saying. And again, as the market is very volatile right now, it's just that much more of a reason, to try to pick up EMP when the dollar value is low. I know those of you that have been here for 3 years since the beginning, one of the big themes that we used to say all the time was to focus on accumulating the tokens and not necessarily the dollar value. And that applies now as well. Again, if you can buy more EMP for the same amount of actual US dollar value, as EMP or as ETH goes down, even with buying pressure on EMP, that allows you to buy, at a cheaper rate, so to speak, and that is a exponential effect on peg. So again, you can see this if you're watching the stats. When the market dumps and ETH goes down, we're able to recover peg even faster, which again is really bullish because those that are taking advantage now will win that much more in the long run. And so again, uh, never ever contribute more than you can afford, but these sort of opportunities where we're peg bonus is going away quickly and EMP in terms of dollar value is down. That is when buying and sacrificing can have the most effect for sure. So, all right, and then just again, I'll pull up the site as well while LA goes over this. But LA, you want to go over some really bullish statistics as well, and then we'll unveil an even brand new feature on Fusion Watch.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
So we have had 310,000 EMP sacrifice in the last week, 1.27 million in the last month, and 3.7 million in the last 3 months. What's really insane is our 1 month stat is what we used to have in a 3 month stat. And these past 2 months have been so powerful that now we're doing in 1 month what we used to do in 3. So hell yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, this week, we're well on our way to reaching our weekly goal. We have a bit more work to do as we're 50% of the way there, but we have a much bigger mission to work on this week as a community. So everyone perk up your ears because we are on a mission. By the time we all wake up tomorrow, we want to see us at 20% on the Peggy Dance meter and over 0.20 on peg, never to dip below it ever again. That is the mission. That is what we're going to work on together as a community over the next, 12 hours or so, or maybe less if you're in another part of the world. So we're not, obviously, this is not financial advice. We're not encouraging any of you to do anything above your means. It's simply a community initiative we're all planning to participate in. But let me repeat it. By the time we wake up tomorrow, we are going to be at 20% on the Peggy Dance meter. We're currently at 19.35% and above 0.20 on peg. We're at 0.1936 right now. So this is really not hard to do at all, but we have to do it together. We can't expect that our neighbor is going to do it so we don't have to. We all have to do it together in order for it to happen. And it's not just about reaching 0.20 peg, it's about never dipping below it ever again. We said it a couple weeks ago again that it was going to be the final time to get above a 6x peg bonus, and we were right. Now we're nearing the 4s on the peg bonus. ETH is low today, meaning more EMP for every dollar we spend on EMP. And just a reminder, we don't have to even break apart our EMP ETH LP to sacrifice and receive the exact same amazing peg bonus as we would if we were just sacrificing EMP. So there's many options, and let's fucking go. Let's do this as a community.
I love it. Let's fucking go, LA. Hell yeah. So totally. I love this initiative. I know, we've had some great success with some community-led initiatives just like this. And yeah, I mean, like you said, it sounds like a big milestone, but really it isn't. I mean, even buying $10, of EMP and sacrificing that, we get over almost 1,000 views on our AMAs. I mean, that again would put us well beyond what we're asking. So again, little stuff like that is super important. And because when you sacrifice, it's locked into Fusion forever. Not only are you getting individually, you're getting credit and that massive bonus. But it's not like other initiatives where communities say, buy EMP or buy your meme token so that others can sell. The whole reason that you're buying is because we're literally getting rid of it into Fusion, and that is a big difference. Because again, every single week, the reason we're getting closer and closer to peg is because people are buying and sacrificing. So it turns into kind of a positive feedback loop, not only of a self-fulfilling prophecy of getting to peg with the economics, but you're actually pumping your own bags by buying and sacrificing because that gets EMP higher and ultimately, gives you a higher microgrid value in the long run. So the way the economics are set up are just, in my opinion, bulletproof. I mean, we've seen this to have a real effect, and it's only going to get better and better as we go. And this doesn't even, take into account that we as a protocol will also be helping, this process along the way, as all of our revenue streams continue to help feed the mothership, so to speak. So, all right, there was a few things I want to highlight as well. Let me scroll down. Hopefully you guys can see everything. Okay, all right, here we go. So there was some new things added. Actually, before I go to that, please make sure that if you are in Fusion, you click on this little button right here and add your wallet address, and it will populate. This was something we added last week. I now have one of my wallets connected, and so that will show you the average sacrifice out of everybody in Fusion. It will show you your rank individually out of everybody. It's a lot of really cool metrics, which I'll show you here. But that will only populate when you add your wallet address to that little gear icon. But then you will see these metrics, which include peg trend, fusion stats, and then my fusion. So these are some really, really cool things. Again, depending on your ownership, this is one of my wallets, only at a 0.1 ownership. Honestly, and I've said this in a few other AMAs, I'm not sacrificing at these levels just to not dilute everybody. Once we are at peg, I will do a massive sacrifice into Fusion as well. But obviously, all those wallets are public, and you can see that the EMP in those haven't gone anywhere. So, but you can see your position. Even at 0.1% ownership, that's still almost a top. Well, it is a top 20% position. So the idea is to keep getting that number up and up as you continue to sacrifice. And that is about the average ownership. So 0.01%, just under that is the average Fusion ownership among all the wallets. Again, I know some people may not be able to afford it, and by all means, don't commit to what you can afford. But we've said, the holy grail is owning 1% of Fusion, and that number will only, in the short term, it may dilute a little bit as more people go in, but once we recover peg, your average ownership will only go up because we as a protocol are buying microgrids and burning them. So once you achieve that 1% ownership or any percentage ownership, and we are at peg, then as long as people are taking profit and there are microgrids to buy, uh, you will continually gain ownership for holding your microgrid. So
Mhm.
and then last but not least, LA is
Can I point
the
out one thing
yeah,
before we move on to that?
please for sure.
Um, yeah, the what I noticed in the last few days is that even with ETH like way down, like the last time we talked about this, ETH was around $4,000. It's at 32.22 right now. And even with ETH way down, I've noticed that my microgrid value is way higher than it was the last time we had that conversation. And it's because we are creeping up in peg every day. And we're not even above zero point 0.2 yet until we wake up tomorrow morning or before. But it just these steady climbs, little by little, it's majorly having an effect on our microgrid values. So I'm very, very happy to see that. And of course, ETH is really going to affect that too. But PEG is monumental with that. And so we need to keep working together to reach PEG as quickly as possible because we're all going to be so happy with our microgrid values along the way and when we reach PEG.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of elaborate that on that a little bit, we talked about in the last AMA uh with the peg calculator, or rather sacrifice calculator and potential APRs, because you're getting such a great multiplier on your entry into Fusion, even at a very mediocre like 10% APR in Fusion can be literally like 100% APR when you take into account that peg bonus. So again, everybody continues to kind of say, yeah, well, what about the yield I'm going to earn? We have to have the egg before the chicken, and we are in the egg mode right now, meaning we once we do recover peg, that is when APRs really start to kick in, and we have to do this one step at a time, and that's what makes Fusion so bullish is everything is calculated, nothing is spur of the moment, everything is slow and steady, and in a very volatile crypto landscape, that is super rare. I mean, again, everybody wants to hit 1000x on a gamble meme token, but I can assure you that's not how you generate and maintain generational wealth. Protocols like this and what we built with the EMP Fusion, that is how you can set up, an income stream for, your great grandkids. So again, that is something to just keep in mind as we continue to build everything out. But and then last but not least, we just added this, the peg trend. So LA, this is an average, the 1 week, the 1 month, and the 3 month with the very requested potential peg dates. So again, remember that's not a guarantee, pure speculation. But if things continue, these are potentially when we could see the peg being hit. So yeah, pretty amazing stuff.
Yes, I'd
Uh,
love to just like do a simple explanation of
yeah,
how this
please.
works because I had to look at it for a second and figure out what it was saying here. So I want to just make sure it's obvious to everyone. So this is looking at the stats that we've had based on a number of different factors over a 1 week time span, a 1 month time span, and a 3 month time span. And so it's predicting when we'll hit peg based on those stats in a nutshell.
Perfect. Yeah, 100%. You can get a little bit better explanation if you click on the little eye icon here. it'll tell you as well. But yeah, again, as LA said, it's a running average, so these numbers will fluctuate. And again, it says March or February now. That could be June, July, who knows? So just take that with a grain of salt. But what the takeaway is that the momentum has been unbelievable. And again, just to say what we said earlier, literally 8 days in a row. 7, this was kind of iffy, but it was still technically in profit in terms of peg. But 7 to 8 days of all green candles means there was more buying pressure on EMP than selling, and that means that peg goes up every single time. So that's another bullish metric to look at. I mean, we've incorporated everything we possibly can. Again, shout out to John and Grover. I mean, they are at a point now where they're coming up with stats that I didn't even know that we needed. And now that it's there, it's like, holy shit, we love that stat. Like, that's so bullish. So, shout out to them. Again, there's a donation address at the bottom of Fusion Watch for any of you that would like to contribute to them. We get nothing, it goes straight to them. And they have been crushing it with the different metrics. So, yeah, and again, don't forget the leaderboard. Obviously, we have that initiative to get to, 20% peg, uh, but you also have some financial incentive through our giveaways too. So lots of good momentum there. You have almost 3 days to contribute uh, to get credit in the leaderboards. So, all right, I think that was everything with Fusion Watch. Was there anything else, Ellie, you wanted me to cover while I'm here?
I don't think so.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and jump back over and let me
Well, I
know.
will just read one more thing that Grover wrote in his post about this. The projections show how our sacrifices are impacting peg over time, motivating everyone to keep pushing harder. The future is in our hands, and every sacrifice brings us closer to our goal. I feel so motivated by those stats, and I want to see them move even faster than what's listed on there. So I hope that we all keep working together to reach these goals as soon as possible, because if we take a look at the 1 month stats, February 11th is like in a month from now. So not that that's guaranteed, but we could hit that in a month. We just have to keep pushing and working together, all of us as one united force.
Yep, 100%, Ellie. And again, like I mentioned earlier, this is really a way that we're pumping our own bags. Like Ellie said, you can see your microgrid values going up, even with the price of ETH going down, because of that, correlation of getting back to peg. So, I don't know any other crypto project that essentially, allows you to pump your own bags without the risk of somebody, the whales, eventually selling on your head. And again, that's not to say that won't happen, but the longer sacrifice goes, the less and less likely that is to happen. And again, I mean, look at only 4.6 million EMP in the LPs, which is only 7% of EMP is in the LP. So that again is really, really bullish and confirms what I'm saying for sure. So, all right, let me go ahead and jump back over to our notes. What is next up on the list, LA?
Yes, we're going to talk about the DAAS contracts, and we're going to update everyone on what's happening and any timelines that we have.
All right, yeah, 100%. So again, I know, even with the website being down, the main site, as we said, you can always visit app.emp.money. But we are working on the migration. So the team has been hard at work doing the calculations. If you were in Detonator or Reactor or Nodes or any of the NFTs, you will be given credit in Fusion. We'll have a way of that we're calculating that is fair to everybody. It will not be a one-to-one, compensation. Again, we're doing this because we want to, not because we have to. And obviously, we don't want anybody to be wrecked in the protocol. And so we're doing this as a sign of good faith to move away from the legacy contracts and really focus 100% on EMP Fusion. So that EMP is not minted either. Any of the credit given in from legacy contracts is EMP that the Treasury has. So there will be some dilution. That's just, it is what it is. But we're not minting new EMP to do that. It's just simply going into Fusion for those people. You will have to have a microgrid. So if you're on the sidelines and you don't have a microgrid yet, but you have a position in nodes or Fusion, I'm sorry, in nodes or Detonator or Reactor, you will need to have a microgrid, the minimum at least, um, associated with that wallet. So again, we'll have all this in an article, but there's a little bit of a fair warning for you. At least put 10, $20 of EMP into Fusion so that you get credit on that. And yeah, that will all happen when we have DexSwap. So it will be either a few days after or simultaneously where we're able to migrate all the LP over to DexSwap and the BSC Dex of our own. So that again is the plan. I have some other info on DexSwap, but LA, is that, do you want to add to that mentality of legacy contracts and any other info?
Yeah, I mean, we are all about moving into 2025 as the powerful force that we are meant to. And so this is a critical step. I know that a lot of you have wanted a resolution to this for quite some time, and now we're finally nearing that. And so we just want to continue to be transparent about what's happening and all the updates we have along the way.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. So, again, there'll be a full article. Nobody will be left behind. Just we have to go bit by bit here. So, and that also brings up another point of what I mentioned at the top of the AMA is how to earn on eShare. And obviously, with EMP, ETH, LP, that you can sacrifice that into Fusion as well and get full credit for both the EMP and the ETH, so you don't have to break it and sell one or the other. But we've discontinued farms for a while now. Again, it's been at least what, a year probably. That the eShare emissions that paid the rewards in the farms, and as it operated as the original Tomb Fork, all of that has gone away, and now all the eShare emissions are going into Fusion, but that makes up a very small percentage of the yield. Um, and after the having in February, with all the burning of eShare, that eShare will be deflationary at that point. So we're getting away completely from the inflation. And what you can do is, rather than earning in a farm, you will just be able to provide eShare BNB LP in DexSwap and earn from the real revenue, the fees that LP creates. So you'll also be able to do it with EMP ETH LP, but I think the APR will still be better in Fusion itself. But the point is that we're offering ways to earn that are non-inflationary and help support the protocol. So all of that again is why DexSwap is so bullish. You're able to earn actual fees through concentrated liquidity providing. It'll be fully integrated with the vaults, so you don't have to manage it on your own. We'll have our own AILM on those pools or farms as well, and then that will earn every single day real yield on eShare BNB as well. So all of those things are again super powerful for the overall health of the ecosystem, and could potentially be a massive generating passive income for everybody as well. And remember, with DexSwap, we also get part of those fees back to us as a protocol to help feed GDEX, which is the token of DexFi, and EMP here, or rather the yield through Fusion. EMP until we get to peg, and then once we're at peg, the actual yield in Fusion. So, all right, I think that covers a lot of that. Anything you want to add to that, LA? And then I have some alpha. Speaking of vaults, I want to drop a really cool screenshot I have as well.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, awesome. Give me 1 second.
The only other thing I was going to say is I think a lot of people will be very excited that they'll have more utility for their eShare. I know I certainly am. So
Yeah, 100%. So, all right. So this is the alpha of the evening. This is a screenshot of the leaderboard on DexFi Vault. So, again, along with DexSwap, we've been hard at work doing some updates on the Dex Vault UI as well. And with all the amazing success we've had with Fusion Watch, metrics and leaderboards are really powerful. It's been on our roadmap for a while, but sometimes the UI stuff gets pushed to the back burner. So we can build the smart contracts, but now finally we have the leaderboards coming. So this will be really cool because you'll be able to see, how to implement your capital into the vaults, best APYs, best for stables, best blue chips, lots of other metrics, and then obviously the most popular in terms of TVL, GDX right there at the top spot. And surprisingly enough, Spark WPLS or Spark PLS is the most wallets, which I was surprised to see that. So shout out to all of you still farming on Pulse. Again, that's a whole nother conversation. I know lots of sentiment down over on Pulse, but I still am super confident that we see a recovery on Pulse. And I think this is probably the final shakeout with Richard Hart, and hopefully within the next few days, getting a decision on whether Pulse was a security. So, all right, really cool stuff, right, LA? I know that'll help people decide what vaults to get involved in.
yeah, I love it. I think that Dex vaults can still be just a little bit overwhelming for some people because there's so much to choose from. And so this is really going to help everyone.
Yeah, no doubt. And literally, you'll be able to click right here, and it will take you to that particular vault. So, super easy. A great way to, again, if you're not as familiar with the vaults, this is a great way to get involved on your own on some of the highest performing ones. And again, remember, typically the higher the yield, the higher the risk. So just be aware of that as well. But yeah, all right, awesome. So there's the alpha. All right, let me go ahead and come back. Any other notes for today, LA,
Yeah,
or
just
any
any
questions?
updates on DexSwap.
Yeah, so again, in terms of timeline, we said about 2 weeks from the beginning of the year. We're still around that mark. Nothing, really that I can unveil. The devs are just busy deving at this point, but we're still super confident that it will have a great impact on the ecosystem and be, could potentially be the biggest revenue driver out of anything that we've done. So just get ready for that. Make sure you are ready to maybe add LP of your own. If you are a project owner, we're working right now with about 10 to onboard their liquidity to DexSwap on BSC. So again, just reach out on any potential collaborations. And the more and more we can do to build the TVL, and it'll be a slow process. Again, you guys are getting the first ultra alpha first update. DexSwap will be something that grows organically over time. So just get involved and grow with us as we release the MVP, and then we'll be migrating Pulse and Manta. Then we'll be introducing PERPS back. I know a lot of you want to have PERPS, the decentralized perpetuals. So it's going to be a multi-month process, but BSC will be ready in just a few more weeks or a few more days, really. What, it's 8th? The 8th already? It's crazy. So yeah, we're on schedule.
Yeah, and DexSwap is really like dominoes. Like when that first domino tips over, aka when it's finished, and as we build, there's so many other things that kind of we're waiting on right now for this DexSwap launch that will be positively impacted as that first domino falls and knocks all the other ones over. So
For
it's going
sure.
to be inspiring positive momentum throughout the entire mothership, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, could not agree more. Everything is coming together. And again, everything, eventually results in the real revenue that we're able to generate. Here's a question is, can we ever estimate how much EMP is making in revenue per day? Honestly, that fluctuates a lot because it's based on volume and bridge fees. You know, uh, the bridging volume on Pulse has been down lately, so obviously we're not making as much. But vice versa, with the volatility in the market, our vaults are killing it with all that volume. So it's really hard to say. If I had to give an estimate, I'd say thousands of dollars a day, if not closer to tens of thousands. But ultimately, when DexSwap is ready and all the revenue is being generated, we could potentially see hundreds of thousands a day. So again, one step at a time. Right now, we just need to focus on peg recovery. Again, whether it's through all of us as a community or the treasury, buying slowly. That's going to happen a lot slower because we don't want to provide exit liquidity for people. But overall, what you need to just remember is all the revenue that we're bringing to Fusion is real yield and actual product market fit within crypto. We're not just printing rewards out of thin air. These are real fees and real yield that we're getting. So, and that's super powerful for the sustainability of Fusion in the long term for sure. So, all right, awesome. All right, any other questions or anything else?
Yeah,
LA, I can't believe we're already almost an hour. Oh, man.
yeah, we have a couple on the AMA questions on Discord.
Oh,
So,
perfect. Yeah, that's great. It seems like we had a lot less over there, but yeah, if you aren't able to catch this live, please join our Discord, and we have a section over there you can leave your questions for the next AMA. So, yeah, all right, go ahead, LA,
yeah, it seems like it's getting a lot busier over there again, which is a good sign. So this
for
is a
sure.
great question. Is there still any plans to come out with new batteries? My understanding is that the current batteries were kind of placeholders with new batteries coming out later that would be permanent. So do we have plans to put out any new batteries in the near future?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, all the batteries that are there now are definitely permanent. I think maybe the question was maybe about the peg exchange battery being, renewable. That was the only kind of question mark. But
I think I think what they meant is when we originally put the batteries out, we had said that these are special kind of MVP batteries, and that we were later going to put some out that have capacities and stuff like that. So I think
yeah,
that's what they were referring to.
for sure. That was what I was saying in terms of like uh being renewable, where you would have to buy them again. What did I say? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So if you're able to earn right now without having to buy a new battery, just take advantage of that. But yeah, I mean ultimately we'll absolutely be adding more tokens that you can receive in the batteries. But honestly, we were waiting until DexSwap. So I mentioned this in the last AMA, but some people may not have put two and two together. We are migrating all the battery LPs to DexSwap as well. So what that means is, when you are converting your earnings into batteries, it has to sell eShare for that other token. And right now, we're doing that through Pancake, which again, we're losing volume, we're losing fees, we're losing out. but doing it through DexSwap will be more volume and more fees for us, which again feeds the ecosystem. So once we have DexSwap up, any of the new batteries and cash out options will be through our own DexSwap. Um, and again, you as a user, you still get your USDT or BNB in your wallet. Like it doesn't change that at all. It's just the routing becomes way more profitable for us, and those fees go to support Fusion and GDEX. So yeah, does that answer LA?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool, and we'd love to have a lot of suggestions on batteries. I know both cash out batteries and utility based batteries as well.
Awesome. Okay. The second part of this user's question is, will there be the ability to split a cash out battery and sacrifice actions? For example, 50% to sacrifice and 50% to cash out.
Yeah, so currently that is not part of the infrastructure. That requires a lot more smart contracts and interactions because, every time you do an action like that, there's a gas fee, and you essentially have to, approve and then submit two transactions, which can get really tricky. Um, but there may be some ways that we can, help do that in a similar way that isn't, overly complicated through the on-chain data. So the short answer is probably not. But you could essentially do that on your own, um, you know, somewhat. So yeah, in the way again as an example would be, maybe a 1 week compound, 1 week split your position based on the yield and sell it off, something like that. So yeah. All right. I don't know if that answered, but yeah.
Another question, I'll dive into this real quick. It's, how do I cash out my eBonds? So the great thing about Fusion is the peg bonus is not just on EMP. It's actually on eBond, it's on Up EMP, it's on EMP ETH LP, and on EMP. So if you have eBonds, what you'll do is you'll go to the Fusion website, which is fusion.emp.money, and right on the homepage in the top left, on the toggle down under sacrifice, you will find eBond at the very bottom, and then you can deposit your eBond into Fusion, and you will get over a 5x peg bonus right now for doing so.
Yeah, that's a great point. So again, just to bring that up again, and maybe on the next AMA we'll just I know we have a lot of new users, so maybe we could just run through how to get involved in Fusion. But
Yeah.
yeah, you anything EMP related, like Ellie said, up EMP bonds, liquid EMP or EMP ETH LP, you get the sacrifice bonus. So again, that is what you want to be doing. What you don't want to do, especially when we're below peg, is the other assets. So like eShare or USDT or BNB or ETH, all of those are calculated at dollar value. And again, the reason we do that is because once we are at peg, then it won't matter what asset you're sacrificing, as long as there's EMP to account for. Again, as an example, you do ETH instead of EMP, you don't get the peg bonus, but that EMP is accounted for in the treasury, kind of like an OTC deal. But once there is no more EMP, then that entire sacrifice UI goes away. I mean, again, the only way to then get in is through buying somebody else's microgrid. So, not to have you FOMO, but this is why we're saying it's so important to take advantage now. And if you do have ETH or BNB or USDT, just go and buy EMP off the market. That is the best way. If you're new to Fusion, buy EMP first and then sacrifice it, because buying and burning it or buying and sacrificing it into Fusion is the best for you. You get the biggest bonus and the best for all of us, because that EMP will no longer be in circulation ever. So And I did want to mention this a little bit earlier. We do have some EMP, and we've talked about this a lot in previous AMAs, but the Treasury, which is one of the top wallets of liquid EMP, we will be implementing a peg stabilization bot. So that EMP will eventually enter circulation, but it will only enter circulation when we are at peg and when people buy. So what happens is, just like we have on SDAI, over on Pulse, we have some really killer, and US Dex even, we have some killer price stabilization bots that will always keep the price of our stable tokens at parity. And the way we're able to do that is we sell, some of those assets above the price, and then we buy back those assets below price. And so we will be implementing that same thing once we get to pay on EMP. So again, just full transparency. But the great part is if there is demand on EMP, until it's all gone, that EMP that is sold is what will drive the APR in Fusion, and that could only be, there may be only a few more months after we reach peg that there is any EMP left. Because again, the more people buying EMP at peg value and sacrificing it, that EMP is gone forever. So that will also deplete the LP of EMP. And when there's only 100,000 EMP left or whatever, we just burn it all and call it a day. And then 100% of the economic energy goes into microgrids. So hopefully that made sense. I don't want to overcomplicate things, but I want to make sure people are prepared, because some people are still scared that those top wallets may sell EMP, but that really isn't the case. Even if they do end up selling, it will be in the peg stabilization bot, which means we'll never lose peg ever again.
Love it. Awesome.
Cool.
Do you have any advice for this user, Liz in Seattle, who is finding that their country is blocked from purchasing on PancakeSwap? Is there somewhere else you can direct them to purchase EMP?
Yeah, so unfortunately, again, we can't give financial or legal advice. I know some people use a VPN, so you can maybe try that. But as of right now, I know maybe even OTCing with other members of the protocol just don't get scammed. So yeah, I would say reach out to me, Liz. I'm happy to help you in private. But yeah, obviously abide by the rules and stipulations in your particular area, for sure.
Okay, awesome. And then we had one more user on Discord asking about the app site and claiming from NFTs. So I know on the app site, the NFT section is not 100% up to date. So if you're having an issue with it not showing the balance that you have available to claim, you may have to wait for the EMP site, the main site, to be back up. But I know at the end of the question, it was saying, is it going to come back up? Absolutely, yes. Our main site will be at backup. This is just temporary.
Yep, perfect. And I did think of something else too for Liz. Another great site, which I've been using a lot personally lately, is Llama Swap, DeFi Llama. Again, make sure you get the right URL. But yeah, DeFi Llama has their own exchange aggregator. I think it's called Llama Swap, or just DeFi Llama Swap. But that's really cool because it's an aggregator of aggregators. So it will give you the best price for EMP over 1inch or PancakeSwap or KyberSwap. There's a ton different exchanges that can route EMP. So that might be something you can use in your location.
Awesome. Cool. Do you see any other questions in the chat? I think we got them all.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I see one more here, maybe from Christian. Would love to perps on pDai. Yeah, again, that is something, pDai narrative. I have a personal bag just in case. I don't know if that's gonna happen. That is the clone of DAI on Pulse, but um, in terms of actually implementing perps on those, we've been pretty transparent. Um, there is a lot of market manipulation on allowing people to go long or short on super risky and volatile assets like pDai. So the short answer is probably not. But obviously Bitcoin, ETH, a lot of blue chips. But we will be implementing. We actually are going to be working with Signum. Um, they just launched their Oracle on Pulse, so we'll be able to get good data for perps on other assets. But there has to be plenty of liquidity and plenty of volume. So I don't know if pDai will make it. So
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think that's it for questions. I just want to remind everyone, because I've seen it ticking up since we've been on this call. Our mission before we wake up tomorrow is to reach 0.200 or above on PEG and 20% on the Peggy Dance Challenge. If we all work together, we will reach it. Let's all make our weekly sacrifices if you have the intention to do that, of course. And let's work really well as a community and smash this goal.
I love it. Let's go. Yeah, we have 3 days still too for the leaderboard challenge. So we're way ahead of schedule. Things are great. Peg is great. Markets are not so great, but all of that is temporary. And again, not to get too political, but I think once we see President Trump here in America finally take office, I believe that's on the 20th. I think we see a lot of people that have kind of just been waiting on the sidelines, and honestly policy overall become a lot more crypto friendly. And obviously America is not the center of the universe, but other countries are highly influenced based on our policies. So I think that will have a big bleed over effect into being 2025 is the year of crypto mainstream adoption for sure. So
Yeah, and at the end
super
of the
bullish.
month, we also have another Fed meeting. So crossing our fingers that there'll be another rate drop.
For
So
sure. Yeah, no doubt. And again, that is very correlated to the crypto markets, even though people like to say, crypto is a hedge against traditional finance, it still really moves in tandem at this point. So, all right, awesome. I think that will do it. We'll wrap it up. Remember, we come to you every Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. We're going on 3 full years of AMA. So it's really great to be able to update all of you in real time. And I think we have a record number of viewers tonight, 130 viewers. So shout out to all of you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please share these videos. All the recordings are on X and YouTube. And again, I mean, I know I've mentioned this before. Judy, I've been giving her a ton of shout outs. We had a community member join that literally went back and watched like a year worth of old AMAs
wow.
before getting involved, and learned everything she needed to know just from those videos. So isn't that amazing, LA? Again, there's so much content.
Absolutely incredible. It's exactly what we want to see. We've always preached education first, and I love that.
Yeah, no doubt. So shout out to you, Judy, and everybody else that's new to the ecosystem. So, um, and last but not least, we have our other AMA, LA, in about an hour from now for
Yeah,
Omniverse Madness. Yeah,
in 40 minutes from now. And I just wanted to add one more thing too.
yeah, please.
It just hit me. But next week, I guess on next week's AMA, we'll be celebrating our 3-year anniversary party. So it's going to be a big one.
There you go. All right. I know I have it on the calendar every year, but it always sneaks up on us. So yeah, totally LA. Again, all right, then we'll do a full breakdown of the last 3 years. The impeccable track record. Zero exploits. I mean, some things that no other a DeFi protocol can say. And a lot of you have been here literally from the first few days or first few months of EMP, which is amazing. You know, you've been on the journey with us for a long time now, and it's great to see the fruits of our labor and building, you know, finally coming to fruition with Peg and everything else. So, all right, awesome. Yeah, much love to all of you. I think that'll do it. LA, any final words before we wrap it up?
Thank you all for attending. We appreciate all of you and so excited to continue to celebrate as we hit every milestone along the way to our vision and well beyond. So thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.
100%. All right, awesome. And yeah, check in for the community challenge. Again, like I said, we have about when we wake up, we want to see some major headway on sacrificing. So join us over on Telegram or X or Discord for all those updates. And I want to see some more Peggy Dance gifts as well. So, all right, awesome. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Good night. Good day. Talk soon. Bye bye.